let's just get it over with. Greetings ladies and gents, my name is Hyozo the Bearded Balkan Blabbermouth and I am discussing, and today I'm going to talk about something that shouldn't even exist in my opinion. It shouldn't. It should not be made. It should not even be a thought in someone's head. But because we live in a society where everything needs to be rehashed, repurposed, redone, remade, reimagined, restocked, anything, and just read, we need to have this as well. It was probably a matter of time, but again, maybe I was too optimistic to think that at least they wouldn't touch something like this in their lifetime. From Variety, exclusive V for Vendetta TV series in the work at HBO, and this is the original post from Variety on X. It also said James Gunn, Peter Safran, and Chad King of DC Studios will executive produce, as will Ben Stephenson. Pete Jackson is attached to write the series adaptation. Now, of this whole thing, I don't particularly have anything against anyone. They can always do their own thing. However, when you have writing a series adaptation, that's something that really bugs me. And it bugs me for a reason, because you have V for Vendetta, which is, in my opinion, a complete work of art. You have the comic book series, you have the movie, and you have it all inspired by George Orwell's 1984. This is a complete circle, triangle, whatever, but it is a closed system. You have the inspiration, the original works, which everyone should read. You have the comic books that were also made afterwards, and then you have the movie that perfectly encapsulates all the messaging, the political stuff, the cultural stuff, the desire to showcase how humanity can collectively rise up against an oppressed government and just explore the possibilities between a government that can rule with a totalitarian fist, as well as how humanity collectively can rise up and overthrow something that actively works against them on every specter without any particular political affiliation, but it only focusing on government and people in power against ordinary people. This is what the premise of the entire entity that is V for Vendetta was, and this is kind of a positive spin on George Orwell's 1984, which doesn't really work like that, but I'm not gonna spoil you if you haven't read the book. Go read it. We have also a post from IMDb about the TV series V for Vendetta TV series in the works at HBO. This is a report, and it says the 5th of November may have been last week, but V for Vendetta fans are getting a belated gift. A TV show based on a titular comic series is in development at HBO. Now, I don't know what kind of a gift that will be. I personally consider it a rotten gift, because when we have an adaptation, a reimagining, a rework of something that has already been beloved, it has a strong cultural significance to the point that it actually has its own date that it is celebrated. It has a physical prop that is being used and is a symbol for a movement, albeit a terribly misguided movement, especially in the recent years. It is a worrying factor, and we have seen this happen before. We have seen beloved movies, TV series, books being reimagined, read into something else. We have seen the attempts to absolutely destroy Tolkien's universe with the Rings of Power, which have failed. We have seen the adaptation of the Witcher books, which also failed, because every time that something like this happens, apparently in TV series or in movies, there is one specific factor that always comes along, and this is that they're trying to reimagine for the modern audience, for the current cultural pushed narrative that more times than not is absolutely toxic and cult-like. And this is not something different. This is a lefty cultural push that we are still in, albeit all the wins that, especially in gaming and in pop culture, we have had. But it's still alive, it's still kicking, and they're still making TV series and movies with that in mind. And I can tell you exactly, in my opinion, how this is going to go. Because you have V for Vendetta that does explore the resistance against an oppressive government. When you have that on a surface level, you can pretty much see how that is going to be turned out, especially with a current day adaptation. This is going to be anti-Trump government, anti-traditional family, anti-only two gender TV series, and it's probably going to focus heavily on the discrimination, the oppression of trans people, of queer people, of women, although none of these things actually exist. It's going to be probably revisiting the anti-immigration laws that, especially in the US, have been made active, and it's going to culminate in a propaganda slop that is so out of touch, so out of balance, that it's not only going to fail, it's going to lose them so much money and credibility that I think will be a huge nail in the coffin of anything woke. And although that would be a good thing in and of itself, it will still provide us with that slop, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the attempts at our beloved movies and TV series and games being replaced or being corrupted by modern day slop. We don't want that. There is, of course, and that's me being realistic and maybe a little bit optimistic, that a 5% chance exists that they'll be doing it a faithful reimagining, and they're not going to change all that much, but they're just going to try to retell the story with a little bit more modern effects, and probably even do it a little bit darker, a little bit more serious than the original, which I don't know how they're gonna do that, but they might try to. And it comes down to possibility to plausibility. It is entirely possible that they're going to do that, but the plausibility of it happening, in my opinion, is less than 5%. And we come down to what we have already been very familiar with. You have an original product that has been created in the before times, and it has withstood the test of time. It's still being revisited, it's still being watched or read or played, and you have a studio that is so eager to do something creative, to do something groundbreaking, to tie itself to a big name and just put this own vision out in the world, that they is taking this, a beautiful thing that has already been masterfully done in the past, and ruin it with their own vision, because that's what they want to do. They never go to the bad franchises though. They never go to the slops. Nobody's going to take up Dragon Ball Evolution and try to do something good with it, because they don't want to tie themselves to risky project. They want to have something solid that they can build upon, and if they fail, they have still gathered enough money, because investors would pay to see something like this without even thinking, and they would have at least a little bit of solid ground to fall on. And that's how they do it. They don't care about being faithful most of the times. They don't care about being truthful. They don't think about making the fans happy. They think about making a quick buck on an established franchise or product. That's their primary thinking, and it's almost entirely like that. Of course, we still yet get to see if it's actually going to move forward, if it's going to get any trailers, release dates, casts, and stuff like that. And probably I might be wrong. However, again, possibility to plausibility. It's possible that I'm entirely wrong, but the plausibility of me being wrong, especially with the experience and with the examples that we can gather only with a bit of a search, is about 5% again. And it's not going to get better unless I am proven entirely wrong. And trust me, part of me wants to be proven wrong, but also part of me knows that it's not going to be proven wrong. But anyways, that's all I have for this video today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy my content, press the like and subscribe button. If you want to say something, please use the comment section and say your opinion about all of this topic. Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be bad? Do you think it's actually going to exist? I would like to hear what you have to say. And if you want to support the channel in a direct way, please click the join button, become a part of the DiscussThing Guild, and help the channel and help homeless animals and animals in shelters. That's what we do here, and that's what we're dedicated to doing in the future as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Helzo, this was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers and stay fresh.